All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick. I'm going to be hosting for you tonight for the Cover 4 with the guys. I got the guys with me. I got Marquise and Terrance. Marquise, how you feeling tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. What about you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for asking. Terrance, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. A lot of interesting things going on this week. Ready to crack this thing open.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. We had something happen too. We normally do pods on Tuesday. I mean, to cut you off, Nick, but we had like family matters to tend to. Like a good friend of the show, Louis Kovich, he passed away, peacefully at his home. So we had a funeral to attend and stuff like that. But great grandpa, stand up guy. So it was sad to see him go, but he lived a great life.
Yeah, definitely want to send out our thoughts and prayers to their family and everything. And we appreciate everything. Things like that are tough situations. So yeah, we are human folks. So there will be times where we won't be able to do the episodes on our traditional standard programming, but so we go out, our hearts go out to Marquise, and then obviously the family of those who were lost. This week's episode, we're going to do it a little bit different because this was probably the hottest week in the NFL. I mean, easily the hottest week in the NFL since we've started, and then the hottest week in recent years in the NFL. So I think typically we start with the news. I think this week we're just going to jump right into the AFC South, so that way we can give adequate coverage to the division before we get really started and everything that happened with the drama in the NFL this week. So we're just going to start with the records like we do with all the divisions. Terrance, let me know, how do you think the division is going to play out this year?
So honestly, I got the Titans taking the division. I got them going 11-6. Colts behind them at 10-7. The Jags at 4-13. Texas at 3-14.
All right. Yeah. So similar to me, I have the huge drop off after the Colts. With Marquise, what are you looking like?
I'm being real generous here. All right, I got Titans at 11-6. I feel like it's pretty obvious. Colts at 9-8. I don't know if you truly upgraded at Wentz to Phillip, but who knows? We'll talk about that. I got the Jags going 6-11. I don't know.
That's generous. That's Make-A-Wish
Foundation. It is.
That's Make-A-Wish Foundation generous.
You generous.
No, look, check me out. Their defense is young, and I feel like they have a lot of skilled weapons on offense. I feel like if you look at their schedule.
Tight end with Tebow. Oh yeah.
No, hell.
They definitely have a lot of weapons on offense, but I feel like it's going to be a growing pain for them because you do have Urban Meyer coming in too. So coaching definitely plays a big role.
Everything.
In the game.
If you looked at their schedule, there were some favorable games. That's why I gave it to them. I didn't go, y'all are getting 6 wins no matter what. Like I looked, and there were some ones that I was like, okay, you're gonna play someone here, there. You can squeeze this one. So it's football. Any Sunday,
anything can happen. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
I got the Texans. I'm saying thing with Terrance, 3-14. Honestly, I hope they don't win a damn game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with y'all. I kind of just sliding up a little bit, so I'm a little more generous on the top heavy teams, a little less generous on the bottom teams.
But I know why you heavy on the top team. Just go ahead, throw that out there.
I got the Titans going 12-5, so I'm not way up there. I got them going 12-5. I got them one more game. So yeah. I mean, 11-6, 12-5. We're right there. Obviously, they're going to be the shootout outside of probably Kansas City. They're going to be like the shootout champs in the AFC. We know they don't got any defense. So, I mean, there's no hiding that. Obviously, they have a great defensive mind with Mike Vrabel as coach, but I mean, the talent's not completely there. They're kind of they're banking on a lot of what ifs on defense, but the offense is what's going to be there. You got arguably the most underrated quarterback in the NFL at Ryan Tannehill. You got the best running back in the NFL at Derrick Henry. I don't know if y'all heard, but the GOAT at wide receiver just got added to the team, and Julio Jones. And then AJ
That's the
Brown.
only thing you needed for them to get 12 wins. That's the only fact.
That's all I needed.
That's the only thing he needed for them to get 12 wins.
So, and then you got one of the rising. Yeah, then you got one of the rising stars at wide receiver in AJ Brown. I got the Colts actually going 11-6. Now, I don't like putting asterisks on things. That's me banking on if the Carson Wentz project works out. I'll admit that because I really kind of agree with Marquise with the 9-8. Depending on what happens, but I think the roster is so good top to bottom that they kind of have a lot of leeway going forward. And if Frank Reich can get Carson Wentz back to, what was it, 2016, 2017 Carson Wentz?
17.
If we can get him back to that form, then I think that offense can click on all cylinders, and they arguably could. Now, this is a huge what if, but if they can get him back to that form, they could contend with the Titans for the division. But I have a huge drop off after that. I got the Jags going 3-14. I think there's just too much going on new with the franchise. Now, going forward, I think they have a lot of room to improve, and they do have a lot of things good going for them. But Trevor Lawrence is a rookie. Urban Meyer, as great as he was in college, this is his first time head coach in the NFL. Don't know what they're going to do. And then, I got the Texans going 2-15. They're an absolute dumpster fire. We don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson's situation. The guy is borderline, either should be in jail, or even if, and these are all allegations at this point, but if those allegations aren't correct, then he doesn't even want to be there to begin with. So, at the end of the day, you didn't replace him. You haven't, all you've done is let go of talent. You haven't added talent. And I really don't see them doing much going forward. Can
we flash back to that Wentz thing real quick?
Okay.
For the Colts, I don't think he played any worse than he did last year. Last year was his worst year. So
yeah, it's only up from there. But what is up?
It's only you could only go up. But in his slight defense, his line didn't play last year. It was banged up in and out, and his receivers.
Philly's going to be in a similar situation as like the Jags, Jets, Texans.
It's like, yeah, we can sit here and make excuses for him at the same time, but then you have guys that it's like completely opposite energy wise. Like you can tell even from like just everything. When Jalen Hurts comes in and he plays, he's giving people hope. So I feel like it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is for Wentz, but it had to be something bigger than football for sure.
Philly ain't want him there no more. Like the fans was just being mad disrespectful towards him. I feel like the organization kind of did him a little dirty in a way. I just feel like he had to get out of there, and I'm glad he did, because I feel like I don't think he's a bad quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I take other things into account. Obviously, it didn't pan out how he wanted. Jalen Hurts was able to go step in for Philly, give him a new face, rejuvenate the locker room, take things to another level. But the one thing that's going to be in Wentz's favor that I wanted to mention to bring up, his play action is going to be his best friend. He got a three-headed monster at running back. It's Marlon Mack. They brought back Marlon Mack. Jonathan Taylor is an animal. And then they have Nakeem Hines, right? He's like a Darren Sproles type receiver, right? From 2016 to 2020, Wentz in play action through 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So going off of that, they're probably going to run a ton of play action. He's going to have better running backs compared to what he had in Philly. The wideouts. You didn't
mention the wide receiver situation yet.
Exactly. The wideouts are going to be better. I think what they needed to do, they shouldn't have let Julio go to the Titans. I feel like they were a team that needed, if they knew they were going to get Wentz, it would have helped. T.Y. Hilton's okay. He's a burner, but he's old. Paris Campbell's fast, but he's just kind of a speedster. And Michael Pittman is nice, but he's not that fast. They needed another alpha receiver to throw out there with those guys just to spread the field more. Because if they had an alpha tight end that was a dog, that would work too. But they don't have that, and they didn't get the receiver. So, it's going to be heavy.
And I think you hit a great point right there at the end with, Wentz is used to like a double tight end set when he had Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. So he's very heavy on the tight end usage. And going into Frank Reich's offense, that's what they want to do. So I was actually surprised.
Still an opportunity too.
They got three tight ends on the Colts, but they ain't the two tight ends.
They have three good tight ends. Don't get me wrong. There's three good tight ends, but they had two great tight ends in Philly. So that's like the one thing. And maybe, like for instance, I'm pretty big on Jack Doyle. I think he's a underrated tight end, but he's not in the upper echelon, so maybe he can take that step forward next year.
If he can stay healthy. It's still an opportunity for them to acquire Ertz. I feel like he's still on the market too, but I feel like, Wentz, he came into a great situation, like to be completely honest. So with them finishing 11-5 last year, they had the 10th ranked offense and 14th ranked defense last year. And for him, the biggest thing I feel like is reuniting with his old coach, Frank Reich. And I feel like with him, was last year, he was top 10 in completion percentage versus expected. But last year, like we said, it was his worst year yet. So maybe He might be a quarterback whisperer potentially.
It's weird to say because the Colts went 11-5 with Phillip, right? So now like we're like gambling here. Like, can they even get 11 wins with Wentz again? Like, that's the real question because you're like, well,
that'll be a true testament to Carson Wentz. If you can't have at least equal success with Carson Wentz in his prime with an old Phillip Rivers, that I think we may be seeing the final. I'll give Carson Wentz 2 years. I'll give him this year to get adjusted, and I'll give him next year to see what he can do. But if in 2 years he can't prove that he really can get back to that, season MVP, where he was arguably the MVP. Honestly, he should have won MVP that year. He just got hurt at the end of the year, and they didn't want to give it to him. I think it might be the end of his career. As a starting quarterback,
he can afford to go 9-8 this year if they make the playoffs. And the bad thing about that is to the AFC, so that is going to be tricky.
Yeah, rough.
Yeah, so, he doesn't even. And I agree with you, Marquise. He doesn't even necessarily have to win the division because everyone knows Tennessee's the new kid on the block. They've been running the division for the last 2 years. But yeah, it's going to be rough. And I like Carson Wentz. I don't know why, because I hated the Eagles my whole life. But I like Carson Wentz. I believe in him. I think that I hated for him. I guess it was really just hating watching the fact that he will get no credit for that Super Bowl and all credit goes to Nick Foles being able to run that team in his absence. But the fact that you were able to have a borderline historic year going into that injury and then just watching Nick Foles, take all the glory, which again, no hate to Nick Foles because I think he deserves what he got, but
they just disrespected that man.
Yeah, and then you draft his replacement at what was he 28 years old?
They put that Nick Foles. They got the statue in front of Philly for Nick.
As soon
as you put that,
Nick Foles aren't even there anymore, and you got statues, bro.
As soon as you put that statue up, and I'm the starting quarterback, trade me,
immediately
now.
It's not even like he was a legend prior.
Yeah,
this was one year, one play.
All of these things, I feel like, definitely shot his confidence in Philly. So I feel like that's a big part of it as well. It's just that aspect, as well as, I got Jalen Hurts right on my butt.
Yeah.
So I feel like for him, it was just maybe it's just a matter of time. And then he was just never able to regain his confidence, just like y'all said. Philly wanted him out of there too, all the fans pulling him off the field and
especially stuff. Considering that Jalen Hurts was not like Trevor Lawrence. He wasn't like a Justin Fields. You're going, I know I think he was second or third round. I believe it was second round draft pick, but he wasn't one of those top guys, so that's gotta hurt. But yeah, so let's give a real quick, Terrance, give me what should we expect from Carson Wentz this year?
So from Carson Wentz, I feel I don't think he's necessarily going to return to MVP form, but I do think he can get them double-digit wins. So 10 wins, I think, at the most is what he can do.
So 10 wins is you think that's successful for them this year?
I think so. Just for the simple fact, like we said, they're in a tough, division as far as AFC as a whole, honestly. They're in a tough conference. So I feel like Carson Wentz, as long as he can protect the ball and be accurate, because I feel like he's going to have a lot of people open. They're going to do a lot of play action, so a lot of drag routes, crossing routes, all that kind of stuff. I feel like ground game, as a whole, they're going to be fine for the simple fact that top to bottom, like we said, their defense and their offense, they're ready to win. I'm not sure if they're ready to win the championship, but they're ready to contend. But that quarterback is definitely a big question mark. For sure.
How about you, Marquise? What do you think about what kind of expectations should we have for Carson Wentz this year?
Like you said, 2 years. The pressure on, bro. You got everything. You're in a new place. You got your MVP. Whatchamacallit? You got your MVP coach that you had that you should have won the MVP with. Everything is in your favor. The only thing you're really missing to me is just a receiver or a tight end, a big receiver, or a big tight end. You got the defense behind you. You got the coaching. You got the running backs and the offensive line. That's a good offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Nelson's leading those guys.
Definitely. His offensive line is top notch.
You should be able to make this shake. And, like me and Nick were saying, you don't have to – you just got to get in the playoffs this year. Because Philip got them to 11, and they did go to the playoffs last year, right?
Yep.
The thing, and then the other issue is this year there's not that extra playoff slot like there was last year, right?
Yes, correct.
Exactly. So that
I mean, the thing too, I feel like big is his confidence because also too him getting that big contract and then getting pulled. Like just think about how much money he making. Supposedly getting paid as a top quarterback, but he's riding the bench getting pulled. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a big part of it too. Is his confidence. I feel like, that's a big part of it. Just think about the same thing in like basketball or something like that when you're just off, and you don't even want to, like Giannis when he wasn't making free throws, for example. He didn't even want to drive to the rim.
Hey, wait. There's a difference. That man's gonna shoot them shits regardless. Air ball, miss, make, front of the rim.
He didn't even want to go to the rim. He didn't even want to go to the rim because he didn't want to go to the free.
You're talking about Ben Simmons.
Him too.
Go ahead, Nick.
All right. So I agree with what y'all are saying. I'll give even a little more, and maybe I'm being too generous here, but I'll even give a little more leeway than Marquise. I'll even give them a pass on not making the playoffs this year, strictly because we got to think about how deep, like what do we say with the AFC North? There could potentially it would be realistic to assume 3 teams get from just that division. Okay. So there's that. You're in the rich get richer with Tennessee. So you're talking about the team that's the best in your division got even better. You arguably are going to have to take one step backwards to start the Wentz project. We know what the Browns are going to do this year. Steelers. I anticipate the Chargers are going to be a little bit better this year because of the fact that the defense will be healthy. Justin Herbert gets a second year. There's a lot of things that go into this season. But I agree with the record. So at least 9-8 or 10-7, but I wouldn't necessarily, the making the playoffs doesn't really matter to me because at those types of records, it's really not in your hands at that point. But I will say, I give them 2 years. The expectation for this year, be solid and consistent, and I can't ask anything more from him.
Honestly, you still have to put yourself in position. Like, I feel like
that's what I'm saying, though. 9-8, 10-7, you're putting yourself in position to be in the playoffs.
But production, but you got to be better than that. You got to be better than that.
Hey, them folks went and traded for him. That man got a ball. Not insanely, but the fact that Phillip Rivers got him to the playoffs, like we keep bringing up, and it's Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers retired.
Yeah.
I
agree with y'all, but what I'm saying is, not like you just said, Marquise, 9-8. Do you really, or 10-7? Do you really think that 9-8 or 10-7 is a guaranteed playoff spot with the way the AFC looks this year? That's putting you in position, which is all I'm asking for Carson Wentz. Whether or not it happens isn't going to be in his hands. It's going to be what all those other teams in the other divisions do. The Steelers could fall apart this year. Who knows? The Baker Mayfield experiment could implode. He could arguably have peaked last year. We don't know. We know Baltimore is going to be up there. We know Tennessee is going to be up there, Kansas City, Buffalo. But in terms of like those teams that are, jostling for that wild card spot, we don't really know what could happen. So all I'm asking is, like what Terrance said, I'm just asking for the opportunity. Whether or not he gets it, then that's what I'm saving for next year.
Okay. I got you. I can see that, giving him 2 years, first year.
So he got 4 years left on his deal anyway, I think.
And to me, forget the 4 years. I'm giving him 2 years. I'm giving 1 year to get settled, and then that second year he's got to be ready to play. So moving on from the Colts situation, so we have an entire circus going on in Jacksonville. Okay, so we got to think. Just a few years ago, this was Saxonville. Okay. This was Saxonville, Florida, arguably one of the best defenses. You had Jalen Ramsey and Calais Campbell running the AFC South in terms of defense. And then not too far before that, you had, David Garrard and Maurice Jones-Drew running one of the best offenses. And then you could throw in, Allen Robinson a few years after that. This is a franchise that's had a plethora of talent, right? They've had maybe not the entire pie, but pieces to that pie that any franchise would kill for, and has really not capitalized ever. Now you go into 2021, you got the GOAT rookie, like since Andrew Luck, since Peyton Manning, this is the GOAT rookie prospect, right? Trevor Lawrence. You have Urban Meyer, who's supposed to be the greatest recruiter in college football history, someone who really is good with younger players, playing with or coaching for a very, very young team. What do we see going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, Marquise? I mean, obviously, and when I say circus, I'm talking specifically about signings like Tim Tebow at tight end. So what do we expect out of Jacksonville this year?
It's a circus.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 3-ring circus. I mean, I know I got them winning 6, but if you look at their schedule.
And that's wild to me.
Well, you got to play the Texans twice.
Yep.
Boom, that's 2. I
had them winning 1. I got them splitting, if I'm honest.
2, and I can't remember what the schedule is like. I think they see the Jets. Like, there's games where I think Urban Meyer's good enough, definitely good enough offensive coach to, with Trevor Lawrence, with the weapons, they got enough weapons to get everybody open, put up points. And the defense is respectable, I feel like. They got DJ Henderson at corner from Alabama, I think. He was a rook last year. So
Florida.
Yeah, oh, my bad. Yeah, wow, see, that. Trump City. So I just think it's a circus. If Urban can get rid of this Tebow distraction, he shouldn't make the roster. I don't care what anybody says about that, but
you almost said you guys, but you know how we feel too.
Yeah, he shouldn't make it. He don't make it, and Urban can start getting stuff. It's gonna be rough though, because it's Urban's first year in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew think he's not gonna be riding the bench behind Trevor Lawrence.
That's who I feel bad for, is actually Gardner Minshew.
I mean,
all right, Terrance, what do you think?
For me, just like you said, it's a circus. So guess what? That makes them. I feel like that makes them one of the most intriguing bad teams in the NFL.
Yeah, because the thing is gonna be funny. Like, we know they talented in some areas. Like, shit, they could be a circus and probably get some wins. Like,
they're like that team that will be horrible but could like smoke like a really good team, and you'd be like, what the hell happened? You know what I mean?
Hey, don't get me wrong, Jacksonville fans. We ain't saying y'all making the playoffs. We say y'all can sneak some wins.
You could sneak in like let's see like a really good team that they could beat. Like
maybe
they play
5 or
Buffalo.
6
like
at the most.
They play Buffalo this year at home. Like if they play Buffalo, like and they smoke Buffalo, I wouldn't be like necessarily that shocked. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like for them, they just have to keep on the same train that they're currently on. Yeah, like you bring in the golden boy or whatever, right? So I feel like, bringing in Marvin Jones, bringing in, keep him surrounded with talent. I feel like that's going to be the big thing. Keep him surrounded with talent and then also improve that defense. Because I feel like they already have a lot of weapons on offense. Maybe they're a tight end away from saying, okay, they have playmakers at every level. But getting that defense, I'm not saying they're going to be Saxonville or anything close to it. But getting that defense to get some playmakers on that defense to where you can get stops from another team, and that you can potentially put up points with anyone due to all the talent that you have on offense. So I feel like for them, keeping Trevor surrounded with talent and rebuilding that defense. But I definitely feel like Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer potentially were the first steps in rebuilding. So
like they could upset the Dolphins. You know what I mean? The Dolphins.
Oh, that's an easy one.
answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's something, they win that. You're like, oh, they beat them. Maybe they can upset the Cardinals' dysfunction. Like there's some teams that like just what they have going on around them that you could probably, if they get the circus at least riled up or
for together. That week, right? Just for 1 week.
If you get the circus together for a couple weeks, you can pull some wins. You get what I'm saying?
Get Tebow in there for like a three reception, 3-yard, 3 touchdown type game, right?
Like, because you got check this out. They're gonna go in the first week. They're gonna go Texans, right? W right there. They go see the Broncos. The Broncos are another
They can win that game.
They can win that game, but the Broncos are talented on offense, so your defense is gonna have to show up, right? So say you're 2-0 at that point. We said you might be able to upset the Arizona.
You could potentially start out 4-0.
You can start 4-0
because Cincinnati's the next week. Yeah. So
exactly.
That's my thing is like they could be, honestly, I said 3-14 because I'm trying to be realistic, like what should happen, right? But they could do something stupid like beat Buffalo. They could do something stupid like beating Seattle. They could do something stupid like beating the Rams.
Right, they're gonna bring.
Do I think it'll happen? No, but if it did happen, I'd be like, all right. I mean, they got the talent for it. It's just whether or not they come to play.
They're gonna bring back the jump pass, brother.
Yeah, that's why I got them winning 6 though, just off the fact of like that schedule is real friendly to them in the beginning, and you know being a young dude, you get excited, you get some wins on your belt. You're like, oh, like
it could be a wrap, right?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence don't really turn the ball over like that, you know. So I feel like,
but it is a difference at the NFL level.
It is. It's definitely a different ball game now, different speed. So
and they got the undrafted rookie running the ball. Could have been rookie of the year. Let's be honest. They're gonna run the ball through him, and they got Etienne from Clemson. Oh boy, would that play?
Etienne. This man said
Etienne. My bad. My bad, Playboy. I hope he don't hear this and feel some type of way. But yeah.
Oh my God.
They got
I scratched my head though.
Heisman. You got to put some respect on his name.
I scratched my head for that one though. That pick, I was like,
it was strictly for Trevor.
It was strictly for Trevor.
Yeah,
give him a comfortable blanket. And they got Marvin Jones, who's a good safety blanket for Trevor. He played for the Lions. He's a great.
Etienne's in that. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's this good. I'm just saying the type of player he is like a CMC and a Alvin Kamara. That's the type of player. Type.
They got Chenault too. Chenault is pretty good too.
But no, I mean,
they got talent.
Yo, that meme. The only thing I'll say about this team is people keep saying the meme between if Trevor Lawrence throws Tim Tebow a touchdown, they'll turn on ESPN for a week. Forget that. Imagine they do a trick play and Trevor pitches it, or somehow Tebow ends up with the ball, throws a pass to Trevor for a touchdown.
Bro,
I won't watch football for the rest of the year.
You know the funny thing is, Urban gonna throw out one dumbass play like that.
That's gonna happen.
That play is gonna
happen. That's
Tebow playing quarterback at some point.
I'm putting it right now. I don't doubt that'll happen. I'm talking about if it succeeds. If it succeeds.
Tebow running quarterback at some point. Watch.
Well, I don't see. It's weird to me. I don't think he's gonna make the cuts or the roster when you start breaking down.
Not.
Like
and
you start breaking
I'm sorry,
down
Tim
what
Tebow, but I hope not.
You start breaking down what you need. If he makes the cut, then that play is happening.
Oh, it's 100%. They're string tight end.
They're trying to them week one against the
goal line formation, they're gonna do something stupid.
He's going in, bro.
Hey, week one against the Texans,
Wildcat, whatever.
That's the best chance this happened. Week one,
quarterback power, something. Yeah, he definitely.
Urban Meyer's gonna turn the clock back to 08. Moving on to the next team in the division, the Texans. So there's not enough that can be said about the dysfunction in Houston. All right. I honestly, in my lifetime at least, I can easily say I've never seen more dysfunction. I've seen bad teams. There's a difference between a bad team and a dysfunctional franchise. I honestly don't think I've ever in my lifetime seen more dysfunction than what the Houston Texans are right now. Because one, they have one talented player left. You just lost J.J. Watt. So you got one talented player left. And his name is Deshaun Watson. And we know the drama surrounding his name at the moment. And he don't even want to be there. So even if he's innocent, with all of the allegations against him, he doesn't even want to be there. The only reason he's still there is because teams are hesitant with all the baggage behind him now. All right, I'll let you start, Marquise. What you gotta say?
I ain't mean to cut you off. This is so crazy to me. The Texans have messed up everything. They're just historically don't know what they got going on. They did my man Andre Johnson completely wrong.
And he was loyal. He was loyal to the team.
Super loyal. And now you got Watson. The weird thing about this, he's innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yep.
So cool, whatever, right? You notice how none of this shit popped up until my man asked for this trade? Like, how
I was gonna say that
it is convenient.
It's so convenient. You mean to tell me? And I'm not even judging the 20 plus accusers. Like, no, do your thing. But you mean to tell me this was this quiet until this man asked for a trade?
Honestly, a lot of it don't make sense either. With like, you look at the allegations and you're like, oh, some of the girls that's making allegations also recommended him to other people. Like, if he did this,
I ain't even getting on the side of it. Maybe chasing a bag, whatever. But like the accusers, they're the victims. I'm with it, right? But
I mean,
20,
this
bro,
legit.
It's 20 of them, and you mean the team didn't know anything? Bro,
that too.
Whoa, bro. So
it's a lot
they were regardless of what happened, right? Regardless of what happened, I'm going to assume these allegations were coming out far before the trade rumors came out, and the franchise was probably trying to quell the flames. And then once he said, "I want out," they said, "Not our problem anymore. Enjoy." And then they let everything flame out.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all though. I need some evidence.
I ain't in the courthouse, so
I'm not either. But I'm just saying, I need to, for like you say, he's innocent until proven guilty. But a lot of it just don't add up when you look at the stories. But definitely, if it's legit, I definitely hope he gets what he deserves, as well as they get
the women find justice. Absolutely,
for sure. So
absolutely, that's one of the great things about America, right? With all the bullshit that comes with it, you do have to go through a due process. So regardless of legal allegations, none of us are lawyers, right? So all we can hope for is that justice is found.
I hope they don't win a damn game.
Bro, they got 4 legit running backs right now. They got Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Rex Burkhead.
You know what's bad,
bro? What are they doing? Tyrod Taylor.
I love Mark Ingram, right? And I'm sad he had to go there, right? And then our old receiver coach is their head coach now. I think he's our old receiver coach, right? I feel bad for him is because he got his chance, right? And he's going to be like the scapegoat for all this bullshit that's about to happen. And then he probably won't get another head coaching job.
Well, I guess I think what I think is crazy about it is like they got rid of Hopkins, they get rid of Will Fuller, and then they're just like, let's just load up on running back. Like that's going to be the answer. You got David Johnson from Arizona. You got Mark Ingram. You sign him. You got Rex Burkhead, who's like, that's a solid like scat back, run out of the backfield, not like a starting running back, but for a third option, he's decent. And Philip Lindsay, like you go that crazy for running back, and you got arguably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Like, what are you doing, bro?
You think they would have tried their damnedest to keep Will Fuller, bro?
Bro, I don't know.
At the end of the day, bro, like he's not one of the top tier guys, right? But he's a solid receiver, and you let him after the DeAndre Hopkins, like overpay him, and no one would have judged you.
Hey, if I cut out right now because it's storming, y'all just know it's big booming over here. But like, you gonna let that man walk? That man's fast, decent hands, and people ain't catching him.
Good route runner. He's a good route runner too.
So like, he's not a great route runner, but
again, nowhere near top tier. But when you have you got towel boys out there at receiver, and that's who your best guy is, you pay him.
Yeah.
Easy.
They got Brandon Cook still, right?
Yeah, they do.
I mean, I don't know. As long as Will Fuller is catching the ball, he's producing. I'm not gonna lie to you. He does produce, but his first couple of years, he has been dropping the ball. The boy got popcorn fingers.
I mean, my problem with the Texans wide receiver core as of right now is Brandon Cooks at the end of the day is best suited. I'm not saying he can't be one of your top options, but best suited as a slot receiver, whether it be in the burner type slot receiver or, quick routes, whatever. But he's your like number one option. You got a dude named Anthony Miller as your current slot receiver. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not looking good.
They're not winning many games. We know that.
It's real bad to live in Texas right now. These boys ain't gonna win no games. The Cowboys gonna be bad. They got another football team, don't they? Cowboys, Texans. Nah, they just got Cowboys, Texans.
Yeah, and then think about the San Antonio Spurs, bro.
Yeah, and then your college team is going to the SEC.
Nah.
So,
which that's not necessarily bad for Texas. That's just bad for the Big 12. But
I want to see the Texans win.
Texas gonna get spanked.
I want to see the Texans win no games next year. And the fact that you want 3 first-rounders for Deshaun Watson is absolutely...
Bro, you be lucky, and...
You be lucky I give you this damn water bottle.
I'll admit my bias. If you're telling me that Deshaun Watson, after all the bullshit that's come with it, deserves more than... And I get it, he's way younger than Julio, bro. But with all the bullshit that's coming with it, deserves 3 first-rounders compared to the fucking potato chips at the... Tennessee Titans through Atlanta. Get out of here, bro.
Bro, I'm dead serious when I say you be lucky to get that water bottle for Deshaun Watson.
Listen, I'm still mad we gave y'all a second rounder for Muhammad Sanu.
With everything going on, you think that they would try to just dish him off? Like, if I was the Texans, I'd take 1 first rounder and then like
you get 1 first rounder and a backup quarterback, like you won that trade. So we won't even, we're not on some negative energy time here. We're just going to move straight on to the next one. Terrance. So obviously the talk of the town with this division is the Titans, the new look. The GOAT has arrived in Tennessee. They're looking great. Tannehill gets another piece to make him prove his case as one of the top echelon quarterbacks. What do we think is going to happen in Tennessee this year? The fact that, yes, the offense is a juggernaut. defense is probably bottom 5 in the NFL. What are we seeing in Tennessee?
Honestly, that's it. They got a whole Kansas City vibe going, except their running game is
Kansas City light, right?
100 times better. So I feel like, their offense, like you said, is a juggernaut. But their defense, last year, their defense was 18th against the run. What did they do to help that? At the same time, you brought in Bud Dupree, you brought in Danico Autry. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Bud Dupree's coming off the ACL, right? I think he had the ACL, not the Achilles. But they lost their whole secondary. Malcolm Butler, Desmond King, Adoree Jackson. But they brought in Janoris Jenkins. They brought in Caleb Farley, who's a rookie, and they brought in Johnson.
Coming off a broken spinal.
Right, and then they also lost Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis. So it's like, I mean, they definitely have lost a lot. I feel like their offense, regardless, because they have Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and they have King Henry. And Ryan Tannehill has been pretty good as well past couple of years. So I feel like offensively, not a problem. They're still lacking at tight end. We'll have to see how tight they get, what kind of tight end play they get this year. But defensively, they ain't gonna be able to stop a nosebleed. So they better hope and pray that they can score 50 points, another team score 49.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be every week, right? Marquise, how do you feel like the season's gonna play out for them?
Their defense was tied for 16th last year, according to Pro Football Focus. They made the playoffs. I feel like more pressure is going to be on good old Ryan Tannehill and his decision making because he lost some weapons. Honestly, they need a corner, so you might want to bug the Dolphins for Xavier Howard and pray to God that works, because the rookie that had surgery on his back, and then Jackrabbit, who's definitely fast, with Kevin Byard helping. I mean, maybe that helps you a little bit, but like Terrance said, you let all your corners go. I would have at least kept Desmond King.
Somebody.
So it's just what we're going to see from Titans is a whole lot of King Henry, a whole lot of play action, a whole lot of Julio dogging people probably. So,
bro, they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to control the clock going again. That's going to be their thing. They're going to have to control the clock.
But the thing is, let's be honest, they've been controlling the clock the last couple seasons. Granted, they didn't want to chip, but they control the clock.
Yeah, their defense was garbage. That's the reason why I actually have a lot of hope in the Titans. So even though they didn't necessarily improve the defense, they improved their ability to control the football. So what's the difference between the one benefit that the Titans offense has over Kansas City is King Henry, right? So like Kansas City's problem is which it's very rare to see this, but going back to the Super Bowl, if Pat Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill aren't hitting on all cylinders, what do you do as an offense? Where now the Tennessee Titans, even though I'll still take the overall receiving core of Tennessee or of Kansas City, and I'll obviously take Pat Mahomes over Ryan Tannehill, you got King Henry in the backfield who can control the clock against anybody. I don't care what defense you throw at him, right? So even if you decide, you could, let's say you build a decent lead, let's say it's 17-7 at half, you can run out in the second half and say, we're going to burn as much clock as possible, and you tell me that you're going to take down Derrick Henry. So that's the one thing that I like going forward with Tennessee is that they've got
their backup running back now.
What'd you say?
Sean, who's their backup running back now?
It's like Darrellington Evans.
Let's be honest. Doesn't matter. Jeremy McNichols.
And then there's a kid named Evans. I think he's third.
He's fourth. He's actually Darrington Evans is fourth, and then Kari Blazing Game. I won't even lie. Tennessee fans are gonna hate me for that one, but I'll be straight up. It really doesn't matter because Derrick Henry has not only proved now. Hopefully injuries don't come into play. He's proved that he can take the one-man band and take you to the promised land with that. So we'll see going forward. But that's why I got them going 12-5. They have an easy-ish schedule. Definitely nowhere near like what the Falcons got going forward, but one of the easier schedules of the better teams in the NFL. So folks, the reason why we started out with the division this week as opposed to doing our typical schedule, which was, starting out with the news, was because this week had so much news going forward that we could not. We knew that this was going to be the bulk of our schedule. So we already kind of talked about Deshaun Watson a little bit with Texans. The big news about him was the NFL decided not to put him on the exempt list. So for those who don't know, the NFL kind of does their own investigation outside of what the federal government does or whatever policing body in that state where the crimes are committed. We saw it with Ray Rice. The case kind of got dismissed, but then the NFL decided, based on the footage of the elevator, that they were going to suspend him, which, I'll be fair, that was the one time I think the NFL got it right. I don't know how Ray Rice got away with that. We had clear footage of him striking his girlfriend, wife, fiance, whatever she was at the time. But the NFL has decided, despite the 23 allegations in one case that got brought to court, that they were not going to go forward with suspending Deshaun Watson. I feel like we've kind of touched on this one a little bit when we were talking about them.
That makes sense.
Does anybody have anything going forward with that one?
I mean, it don't make sense, honestly. Like, we need some sort of consistency from the NFL, bro. Like
that's the one thing I will say is I don't like that the NFL does this. Now, like I said, the problem is the Ray Rice thing, because those cases kind of got dropped because his fiance, I believe she was his fiance at this time, I can't remember, but she dropped the cases. So the courts kind of dropped her cases. But when you're a public entity like the NFL, I get why they suspended him, because of the fact that, we, with our own public eye, saw what he did. But in a case like this, where it is, unfortunately, and I hope for if you truly are victims, that you do get justice, where we don't have concrete evidence like the Ray Rice case, you do have to go through the courts. And so
honestly, if you look at it, like, just from a fact, like being, a black man of his stature, and have all these allegations, it doesn't look good. Because if you look at the history of, these kind of cases, it could have even been one woman, in this case. But in this case, it's like,
it was a
plenty.
slew.
Even recently, it was what, 10 more or something like that?
Yeah.
So, or, it don't look good for him. And
Marquise,
it's definitely sad, because he's always been like a A1 caliber type of person on and off the field from the public's eye.
Charity, everything they did. Yeah, it was very
from the
odd
public's
to
eye,
see.
he's been an A1. Yeah, he's always been an A1 type of guy when it comes to character and everything from the public's view. But definitely, I mean, if it is legit, I definitely, like I said earlier, hope that, these women get their justice and their closure. But at the same time, if it's false, I definitely hope it's the same way the other way around, whether it's the owner and his previous neighbor who was the lawyer of all these women. A lot of this stuff at the same time, like I said, is fishy. But, if it is legit, I definitely hope, justice happens. But if it's the other way around, I definitely want to see justice as well, because historically, you don't see the accuser or the person making the accusations, you don't see them with any kind of, no, you were wrong, or it really didn't happen. You said it didn't happen after you already accused them when we went to court and all of this. You don't see anything happen to those people making those accusations. So I feel like if it is the other way around, I definitely want to see the leash just as tight. And
what's his face? There was a defensive end. I think it was Sean Oakman, the big dude from Baylor.
The one with the picture.
His was false, but I don't like what Terrance was saying, because I ain't really got nothing to say about the Washington.
That messed up his whole everything.
I don't got nothing left on the Washington thing. Like, regardless, the NFL needs to hold players accountable, but the NFL does such a job at making sure these players are held accountable. You need to do a job at holding these organizations accountable for everything. So that is something that needs to be done. For what Terrance was saying about the accusers or the victims, if it's a false victim, you could say, I guess, and then nothing really happened, that they need to be charged. I think before you even get to that point, you can't get to that point until these men start actually like paying for crimes or actually are held accountable. I get what you're saying. Like, that needs to be done too. But I feel like at the rate at which like abuse or sexual assaults or domestic violences are happening, like, men aren't being held accountable to, like, it's just, it's too faulty to me, and I feel like it's not taken seriously. And I got a lot of women in my life, so
Yeah.
this shit
And
irks my last nerve.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you, Marquise, about that last point. Is the trickiest part is, yes, obviously, I think we all know that there are probably women out there who do this for, the pretty penny, but at the end of the day, making sure that the guys who really are despicable human beings get behind bars first is the main priority, because women are scared enough as is with the way the justice system is set up to come forward. We've seen it in the past. We got to make sure that we do right by them first. And I know it sucks because it is you are innocent until proven guilty, but I feel like the majority of the time, women aren't taken seriously. We see it with campus rape cases and all that, where unfortunately it's, Jimmy is the starting quarterback for, D3 whatever school, and you're Sarah in chemistry class, like, get over it type deal. And we need to really take it more seriously. Now, in terms of a lot of these cases with the NFL, you never know what's going on because there's a lot of money, a lot of status, and a lot of things going on with it. But I guess I just wanted to say that I do agree with you, Marquise, that first and foremost, we got to take care of these women who are not being represented properly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that as well. But I just feel like there should be equal
due process. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as true justice is what
Yeah.
all I look for is true justice. Whether it be a true allegation and they find it to be true or whatever, I definitely want the women to
Yeah.
have the justice that they're deserving.
Feel safe. Yeah, going forward.
Exactly. So I just like Keith, I got a lot of women in my life too. So I definitely want scumbags.
I forget the rate at which like the accusers or the victims are lying. I forget. I did a paper on it. Man, this would have been a great time to have this paper open on my laptop. But I like went in on like the abusers on this paper. I got a 90 on the paper too. So
hey,
I don't know. But we get what else we got rolling, Nate?
So the next one, and I want to take a second out for this one, and I'll make this very brief. I spoke to the guys before we get into this topic. Just got a little thing I want to say. So obviously one of the bigger news to start the week before we get into all the other stuff was actually the announcement that players who tested positive for COVID, for violating COVID protocols, who were not vaccinated would be fined. I think the exact dollar amount was $14,650 per violation. We all agreed, we're all on board with this. If you're not comfortable getting the vaccination and you want it because you don't feel educated enough on it, that is totally fine. Please make sure you get educated. Make sure you do your due diligence to do the research. This is your body. And like we've said in segments throughout this episode, one of the great things about America is it is a free country and you can do as you please. But the other thing that you have to take into consideration is this is one of those things that affected the entire planet, okay? And then also just looking into our country affects our country. We saw the news about Ron Rivera, immunocompromised, just dealt with cancer and is very disappointed in his own team, not going out there and getting vaccinated. If you have speculations about it, that's fine. Again, get educated. My one thing I want to say is two of the worst arguments I've heard about getting vaccinated that and maybe it's just my opinion, I feel have become just politicized conspiracy theory talking points is one, that it's only 90% effective. At the end of the day, there's no such thing as a 100% guaranteed vaccine. We all get the polio vaccine when we're born. It is not 100% effective. We all get the, measles. We get chickenpox. There are a plethora of vaccines that we get that we're required to get before we even enter grade school that are not 100% effective, but are tested by the CDC, the same people who are recommending that we get this COVID vaccine. By saying you're only 90%, that's not good enough. And then also saying, well, if you're vaccinated, why do you care if I'm vaccinated? This is how math works. If you have an entire population of people that are 90% not able to get affected by this virus, then you know that you're going to decrease that amount of spread rate massively. If you only have half the amount of people that are at 90%, because it isn't 100%, you have half the population that is very likely to get the disease, which will then make the people who are 90% not getting, or the people that are 90% not affected, you're increasing the chance that they are going to get the virus as well, and thus creating more of a spread. So all I ask is that you get educated. Don't listen to political talking heads that are taking advantage of a pandemic for their own gain, and that can be either side, whichever political affiliation you have. When I say do your own research, I don't mean watching your average Joe on YouTube. I challenge you to please listen to scientists, virologists, people who do this for a living, because you wouldn't want to go to your mechanic to hear dental advice, right? So that's all I have to say. And then I'll let y'all have the floor for the rest. Marquise, if you want to start out.
Yeah, I think you hit the head on it for me and Terrance, to be honest. Like, I think you let out with it pretty strong. One thing I got to say about it is one thing: the NFL is finding them players way too much damn money. if you look into what they find players for wearing the wrong socks. All right, that you find them boys a little too much money, to be honest. You can find them, but that's way too much money, especially for the bottom tier guys. Second point but my mom had got chickenpox when she was a kid, right? I told the boys about this. Bro, I don't even know what the hell chickenpox is, like what it looked like. I've only seen it on movies. Like, I've never got chickenpox. So I've got the vaccine when I was a kid. I don't know what it is. Like, I can't tell you what it looks like. I can tell you what it looks like off of movies, pictures, but I've never seen a person in front of me with chickenpox. Yeah. So it was that, and just the whole thing you said. Like, my cousin who works at a bank, right? If I needed mortgage advice or loan advice or for my home, I'd go to him, or I'd go to an expert on it. I don't know when listening to experts turned into this thing that it was the incorrect thing to do, but whatever. Like, this is a podcast. We're just talking. We're not experts on footballs. We're just We're fans of football. We're not experts. You probably want to listen to John Gruden, and that's a terrible example.
But, you went for the worst one. But I'm about to say, please listen to Lamar Jackson's opinion on football over us. Please listen to Patrick Mahomes' opinion on football over us. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. We're fans at the end of the day. But I get what you're saying.
My biggest thing with the whole vaccine thing is just to feed off what Nick said. It's just, don't listen to non-medical professional people, when it comes to taking the vaccination. Just like Keith said, growing up to even attend school to, go to college to do whatever, you got to provide your vaccination records. You might not even remember that you got vaccinated, and we don't know. Truth is, we don't know what's in the vaccine. Just like you go to McDonald's, you go to KFC, you go to Taco Bell, you don't even know what's in the food that you're being served on a daily basis. You don't know what's in the soda that you drink every day, the water that you're getting out of your faucet. You don't know. So at the end of the day, most of the things that we consume on a daily basis, we don't know what we're consuming. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't understand the hype around, all these conspiracies and stuff like that. Like, okay, I understand it's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to, feel uncomfortable, but still get educated, because there still are side effects. There still are things like that take place. But at the same time, at least go into it educated, knowing the reason why you're doing it. Is I feel like the big thing.
Regardless, I'm gonna be wearing a mask everywhere I be at anyway. A good 90+% of the time. Well, I was just at the family crab boil with a mask on, playing basketball. Yeah. So you gonna see me with a mask. You get the vaccine or not, big dog. I'm probably everywhere you see me, I'm with a mask. I think maybe a basketball court you might see me, and that's touchy on that one. You might see me without it.
I'll say this. The one last thing that I want to add, and I'll give credit to the Cole Beasleys of the world, and this is very slight because I'll be straight up. That's someone that I think is falling down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. I do think the NFL, and I don't know what they're doing in terms of educating players, but I do think they're failing the players in terms of there should be a seminar or something with every team where whatever they have to do to get a virologist, to get a doctor, to get somebody to these teams in training camp, and just have a sit down with everybody on the training staff, everybody in the coaching staff, every one of the players, and just explain to them exactly what's going on, why it is so pertinent to get this vaccine. I think the NFL, before making it just a oblong decision that you have to do it, making it so that you make sure your players and your staff are all educated. Now they may already be doing that, but I haven't heard a peep out of the NFL that they're making sure that that is happening.
Nah, they gonna find them to get that money, but they ain't gonna educate.
So that's what I'm saying is if you're gonna find them, make sure you educate them, because you do have players who have questions. And at the end of the day, these guys are, yes, did they go to college? Are they college educated? Absolutely. But a lot of these guys are business majors, or they're teaching majors. They're, a lot of things other than medical field. And I think it would be a fair assumption to go out there and say, about 70% of these guys probably aren't medically educated. Make sure that your athletes, your stars, the people that are generating revenue for you are educated on something like this before you force a decision down their throat.
At the end of the day, Nick, just like you just said, on top of that, they're humans just like us.
Yeah, they're humans. These are human beings.
They're making way more money than we are, but at the end of the day, they're humans just like
they're still human beings.
They go through the same things we go through, just like getting COVID, getting fevers, all that kind of stuff. They're human just like us. They go through the same things. They just, in a position to make millions of dollars from playing football.
Yep, I agree.
Crazy.
So get into the more juicy stuff in the news. So the first one, I'll just go in order of things that we heard in the order that we heard. So Chandler Jones, shocking, in my opinion, it was shocking to hear he had requested a trade out of Arizona, multi-time Pro Bowler, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, Super Bowl winner, John Jones' brother, has requested a trade after getting arguably one of the best help you can get on the other side of the football edge rushing, and JJ Watt. Terrance, what do you think about his proclamation for wanting a trade out of Arizona? And don't say that you want him to go to New England.
Please. He was gonna say it too.
I ain't even gonna say that. All I'm gonna say is, he's definitely a talented guy. I can, in a sense, understand his frustration and everything because, in terms of getting the deal done as well as them underperforming and everything, underachieving. So I'm like, I don't necessarily blame him for wanting to leave Arizona, but the potential that y'all have this year as far as bringing in JJ Watt, both of y'all coming off the edge. I don't know if I would necessarily be so quick to leave town, but I'm
leaving because they're gonna, at best, they're gonna be the third best team in that division. At
That's
best.
What I'm saying. That too.
At best.
They're not underachieving.
Bro, at best, they'll get the third position. Other than that, I got them taking fourth. The Niners are gonna come back healthy. Seattle improved the line for Russ. And then the Rams are the Rams. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on the other side. Good luck.
They've been underachieving for sure. So, that's why I say I don't blame them for wanting to leave. But, especially if you can go to a team, honestly, like a Baltimore who just lost a Judon to us. He's going to be a better option than Judon in that defense anyway. He's a sack machine. So
my man's a double-digit sack artist from 2015 to 2019. Last year he was injured, so you could have probably tacked last year on. Yeah. So reality, team, if you need a pass rusher, I'd call Arizona up. I don't know what you give him, maybe a second and a fourth.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, he's 32. Probably gonna have to get him a new contract anyway, or we're gonna have to take his big contract.
That's the big thing is that he wants a new deal. So whoever is going to trade for him is
everybody want a new deal. Everybody.
And this is the thing too. Like my thing about it is like if Chandler Jones wanted to trade after this upcoming season, I could see it. But like my problem is like I think what we're starting to see with a lot of the edge rushers in our lifetime, that's become a position, right? Like basically you're a hybrid linebacker DN. So we'll just call you an edge rusher. I don't get it because look at Khalil Mack. He hasn't gotten much help on the edge. So a lot of people are starting to call him overrated. I think that's BS. But a lot of people are starting to call him BS or are starting to call him overrated because his numbers don't look like what they used to. The problem is he doesn't have help. So going to Chandler Jones, he was hurt last year. That's one. And then two, that all the focus on that defense in terms of D-line was on him. So now you add JJ Watt that'll add help to you and give you more one-on-one matchups with slower O linemen and let you get to work like you're used to. you could have a ball out year this year. I mean, and now granted, yes, Baltimore would probably be a great fit, and you might even be able to play even better in Baltimore, but that's a huge what if. And, there's a lot of variables that go into that. But outside of Arizona, I really don't know much better scenarios and now I'm taking cash implications out the window, because obviously if it's strictly cash, go get your money elsewhere. But
so you're saying better situations?
I'm saying better. Arizona is probably the best situation. Strictly take money out of the situation, just playing wise.
Playing wise? Oh, that's a lie. I can name 5 places right now.
I'm not talking about to win. I'm talking about individual mind numbers. If I'm looking to produce this year, I can't name that many.
I can name 5 for sure.
I like to hear.
All right,
you gonna name places that
I'll give you Baltimore. I'll give you Baltimore. So
okay, one. Baltimore. That's one. Buffalo for sure. Buffalo needs a pass rusher on the other side of Ed Oliver in the middle. He would
but that's the thing people. Ed Oliver's in the middle, and tell me what the difference is now between his situation and there. I'm talking about strictly situational. Okay, he doesn't have another edge rusher. He'd be in the same situation where he's the main guy.
He don't got he don't got a defensive tackle right now on Buffalo, right? Or I mean, on the Cardinals, there's no defensive tackle. JJ Watt's on the other side. Let's be honest, JJ Watt would be injured a lot.
So okay,
let's not even go there.
I'm assuming he has a good year. I'm assuming JJ Watt plays.
Yeah, we're assuming a lot there. If I can have a healthy Ed Oliver on that side
but JJ Watt can do both. JJ Watt's played defensive tackle, nose tackle, and end. He can do all of it. So you can put him anywhere.
I just feel like if I'm Chandler Jones, you don't already want a ring. You probably want to stay competitive at least. They're the third best team. They're not the third. They're the last place team in that division. If they can send you somewhere and you've been there and played with them, and they're like, all right, well, maybe we can send you to a contender or we send you to a better situation.
Now, if it's strictly money, I'm all about it. Go get your money. I don't care if you go to Jacksonville and act like you're gonna revive Saxonville and just get paid out. But
he got paid with the Pats, didn't he, Terrance?
He got paid, and he got paid when he first got to Arizona. But my point is that I don't think that there's a better scenario for him in terms of revitalizing your numbers and then getting paid out next year. That's just my opinion.
To me, he don't need to revitalize his numbers. You know what you're getting. 2015, 2019, you getting at least 10 plus sacks from a man.
I mean, you're talking about
he's gonna ball out. He's gonna ball out for sure. So,
but I mean, 6 years is a century in the NFL.
Sacks ain't the only thing. Like we know, like sacks aren't the only thing. But in today's game, where the edge rusher is damn near just edge rushing the whole time and rarely falling back.
And at this point in his career, that's what he's good at.
Exactly. Yeah. And let's be honest, he's a dog. I mean, other than those big names.
Well, I mean, that whole family, Arthur Jones, John Jones, Chandler Jones. Imagine being those parents and just having to look at you've produced 3 champions.
2 Super Bowl winners, and then you got
arguably the greatest light heavyweight of all time.
Arguably greatest light
heavyweight, arguably the greatest fighter of all time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's wild.
Crazy.
That is wild. They athletes, bro.
That household was, they beat each other's ass on a regular basis.
If I'm that family household, or I'm the True Holiday household, or the Ball household, or the Giannis family, you can't tell me nothing. All my boys are in the league. They all balling. Like, you could, if I'm dad, mom, you couldn't come to my house and say nothing.
Yeah, you can't tell me anything. What did I not do as a parent, right?
Yeah, bro.
All right, so one of the newer ones as well was, Xavier Howard has requested to get traded out of Miami. This one isn't as shocking to me as the Chandler Jones, but, obviously one of where the NFL has evolved so much over the last couple of years that wide receivers are virtually unguardable at a certain point, where you need a top defender to stop offenses like Tennessee, offenses like Kansas City, offenses like Tampa Bay. This is huge implications for a lot of different teams. Where do we want to see Xavier Howard land? And what would be the ideal situation for a team that needs that one piece to win? Marquise, I'll let you start.
Thank you. So I was looking at it earlier. Let me pull it up. Right. So we got the list we sent in the group chat to each other. I'm going to bring up some stuff on Xavier Howard. He's incredible year last year, 10 picks, led the NFL. He led the league in picks in 2018. He is he's probably the best ball hawk. He's the only ball hawk I take over Marcus Peters at corner. So he's the only corner. If you said pick the ball off, I'd take over Marcus Peters. He's a solid tackler. So you didn't even bring up the fact that he can tackle too.
Only 28 years old. Yeah.
28 years old. The deal is kind of finicky. I get why he did admit he signed it and he wasn't too knowledgeable on it, him and his agent. So I mean, agent let him down. I'd probably fire Buddy, but that's just between me, him, and God. But if I had to pick where a landing zone would be, if I'm the Panthers, if I could put him on the other side of JC Horn in that division, especially because you're tooled up on offense with all those weapons, even if Darnold plays average, you're putting yourself in position to win because we don't know exactly what the Saints will do. And then at least you got enough corners to cover the Bucs. And the Bucs, give it 2 more years, definitely this year, but maybe 2 more years. They ain't gonna be around forever, The team's gonna get dismantled at some point.
They got about 3 years in our
yeah, right? I'd say 2 solid, like 2, you're
solid, maybe a third year, right?
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna go Panthers, Niners, and the Vikings.
Okay, I like.
Honestly, if you're the Niners, you need it. You need it. So if you're the Niners, I would go out there. And honestly, if the Chiefs can move some money around, which they can't, they're in cap century hell. Yeah, I don't know. And they got a lot of answers, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think Mecole Hardman's the answer for
I know my pick as like the one piece needed. Terrance, who do you got?
For me,
besides the Patriots.
I'm not going Patriots. Why y'all want me to go Patriots for everything? Now,
we try this, man.
I wouldn't complain if we did a Gilly for Xavier Howard and we paid Xavier Howard instead of Gilmore. I wouldn't have no complaints.
But that's the thing is he's getting paid a lot and he wants a new deal.
No, honestly, he's really not getting paid that much. And the thing is,
he's outplayed that deal.
Byron Jones is getting paid more than him. How are you the best, arguably the best defender on your team, the best corner for sure, getting paid less than the next guy?
That's why Seattle trying to be careful how much they pay Jamal because they don't want to overpay him. And then Bobby's looking like, whoa, wait.
But yeah, I mean, I don't blame him at all. But how about this? So were we not just talking about Chandler Jones, right?
Yep.
So does Arizona need a corner?
Okay.
So how about
I'm listening.
Xavier Howard for Chandler Jones? How y'all like that?
I think I like it as a standpoint of just for each team, but I don't think the Cardinals have the cap. It's weird because you're going to pay AJ Green the money. You just brought AJ Green in. We know AJ Green be injured. JJ Watt be injured. I'm going to pay Chandler Jones, bro.
Hey, we got the Paralympics in Arizona.
Bro, if you're telling me pay them or pay Chandler Jones, I'm going to pay my mans.
Yeah. So my pick is actually the Chargers, all right? So the reason why I like the Chargers for that pick is, because you already know your front seven's set, right? Like the front seven, you're good. So you add that marquee corner to counteract. So I think we all agree that the potential for the offense is ridiculous, but we don't know because we see sophomore slumps all the time in the NFL. Justin Herbert could implode this year. Who knows? I don't think he will, but he could. Your running game's a little suspect. You got one of the most reliable targets in Keenan Allen. I know I give him a lot of hell, but he's one of the most reliable targets. Definitely top tier route runner. So if you solidify that defense, whatever downfalls that you have on offense would kind of be covered by that. And then you would really return to this level and specifically in their division. So you are probably finishing number 2 right now, in my opinion. I think Xavier Howard immediately puts you to number 2, and then you become the matchup nightmare for Kansas City.
Him and Chris Harris Jr. would be, and Asante Samuels Jr. in the slot picking up. I think that would be crazy, but I think it would be better because they have Mahomes in that division if they had Chandler Jones and Joey Bosa rushing.
Yeah.
I think that'd be better because they lost Melvin Ingram.
And it's easy to say that too, because we know that Kansas City's O-line won't be as badgered as they were in the Super Bowl. But after seeing the Super Bowl, it's so hard to say. You almost want to be like, yo, if we could just get after Mahomes, it's a wrap,
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at it in both Super Bowls that happened to him, the Niners did it to him. The Bucs did.
He just turned it up in that fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yeah. Teams are seeing like, hey, you know, maybe we can sag off on the corners a little bit. And if we can load the front seven.
I think Bosa's enough, though. You know what I mean? Bosa's enough as is. And then if you add.
Be injured, though.
And I hate that. But, like, you make a good point because if you add the reliability of Chandler Jones and then.
Because if you think about it, like you're saying, you add Chandler, you got Derwin back there.
Yeah.
With Chris Harris Jr. And Asante Samuel Jr. If you add Chandler Jones and you buy Derwin time, I don't care what nobody says. I mean, it sounds foolish, like, you know, but Derwin's healthy. Whew, scary.
One of the top guys, yeah.
Scary.
I mean, the NFL is a terrible. The one bad part about football, period, and specifically the NFL is like injuries are inevitable, right? And there's a lot of guys whose careers are, you know, they're borderline Hall of Famers, and then become. You know, what happened to so-and-so because of a couple injuries, right?
Hey, if we could do this like Madden, turn the injuries off, that'd be live.
Yo, right? The NFL there wouldn't be a sport that could touch it. There wouldn't be a sport that could touch it.
I mean, honestly, the Chiefs might be willing to go all in for him to add that piece.
But you got to think.
They would have to move some.
They'd have to say bye to a couple people.
I mean, borderline, you'd have to say bye to Chris Jones. And like, then you just counteracted, okay, cool, you added a secondary, but you lost your D-line. So it's like,
I think they say bye to. Huh? Picks? Well, no, because you just saw Joe Tooney. They're gonna have to sign. The Chiefs are gonna be in a scary situation. Like I said last spot, is that they let Sammy go, right? So McCole Hardman's the number 2, which really McCole Hardman's not a number 2. But if you have Travis Kelce, you can fake it till you make it with him being a number 2. But then you got to pay Tyreek Hill soon. And if Tyreek keeps doing what he's doing, he's gonna argue. He's gonna tell you, I gotta get paid.
They did the best. They did the best case scenario with Mahomes, but his deal, he's going to start getting paid more the more the years go on, too. So you're going to start losing cap space. Rapidly.
Exactly. Tyrone Matthew got to get paid. So I'm pretty sure it's safe to say Honey Badger won't be there. You got to retain Orlando Brown, or you wouldn't have traded the first round pick for Orlando Brown.
That's true.
So you're stuck there. And now we're like, oh, well, Travis Kelce's 31. Who knows when he's going to be like, you know what? I'm over this. Like,
it would be wild in 4 years, potentially. I'm not lying. 3 or 4 years, Kansas City might not even be in playoff contention. Like, they might be like crazy offense, but like, what else?
They're so arrogant to me. Like, I like watching them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think they're a fun team to watch. I think Andy Reid's a great coach, but they're just like arrogant in the fact of like, all right, we're just gonna score. You're gonna stop us because they're in the division they're in.
That's
it's
it.
Like, oh, we're gonna score. Nobody's stopping us. They did the same shit in the Super Bowl. And Devin White and the boys were like, okay, we're gonna stop you. Don't worry,
right?
Yeah. Like, bet you want to do the same shit you keep doing everybody else.
That's why I like the Chargers are literally like that, like one defensive piece. And honestly, I like whether it's Chandler Jones or Xavier Howard, like that one piece, and all of a sudden Kansas City's like, well, shit, you know. And they don't have the defense to stop. I don't even think they got the defense to stop the Chargers offense. You know what I mean? So that could be interesting. Obviously the most drama-filled portion of this whole week is everything that's been coming out of Green Bay. I mean, you could write a 30 for 30 on this team before this season even started, right? So the craziest part of all this to me, so obviously being capped with today, the press conference, really getting inside. So the biggest question has been, is Aaron Rodgers just being a diva, or is the front office really this bad? And in my opinion, the front office situation has been exposed with Aaron Rodgers. Probably the realest press conference I've heard in football in my lifetime. Came out and just let it air out.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. That was the realest press conference.
He basically said that, but he didn't just do that though. He said, I'll be here so I don't get fined, but also just so you know, here's the dirty laundry of the front office. I mean, my man went all the way back to 2012 with Charles Woodson. So first of all, he started out by saying
James Jones.
He said, it's not just about me. He's like, I've been seeing this since day one. Since I've been that dude in Green Bay, he's like, we've disrespected every marquee player, going back to Charles Woodson, who's arguably the greatest player in franchise history, right? Outside of Aaron and Brett Favre. So you had Charles Woodson going back to 2012, so almost 10 years ago. You disrespected him. Two of my guys that were two of my best targets, and Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, you disrespected them.
You got Casey Hayward.
Casey Hayward, you disrespected Micah Hyde. Was it Balaga? You disrespected him.
Yeah.
all these guys, he rattled off a ton of names and said, you disrespected all these all-pro talent guys. And now here's my time, where I am arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. All I asked for was, after we saw what Tom Brady was able to do in Tampa, give me a little bit of room to work with some of these guys that I work out with in the offseason. Why are you not giving me the respect that I deserve? Terrance, I'll let you start out. What did you think of, obviously going back, he rejected the extension. After everything we already knew, the press conference today, what did that change? What did that add to? What did that do for you?
I mean, for me, it just, he aired out the front office. Like, end of the day, I feel like they're honestly dead wrong for the way they've been handling the situation. For somebody, a generational talent such as Aaron Rodgers, and for him, all he wants is a little say-so in the free agents, a little say-so in what we're doing as far as, for the future when it comes to draft. Because, like, when you look at it, okay, you drafted my successor, like he said today, or, in the press conference, it's like, what are we doing? Like, you arguably, I've had some great help here. However, when they're leaving, they're not even getting offered contracts, or we're just flat out not trying to pay them what they're worth. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I feel like, honestly, the front office is dead wrong for the way they've been handling the situation. Because, like I said, you got generational talent like Aaron Rodgers, and all he wants is, hey, keep my guy, Randall Cobb. Hey, keep this guy. Let me get a little input on this. Or, hey, like he said, we had a guy who was arguably the second best receiver throughout the whole camp, and you cut him, but didn't come to me, and maybe I could have changed your mind, persuaded you not to cut this guy. Why?
You know what's wild? He didn't even tell you on offense to keep these all pro, he's asking you to keep dudes that are like the third, second string guy, other than Jordy. Jordy was the number one dude for him at a point, but he's telling you to keep dudes that he just are reliable targets for him. Like, I honestly don't see a problem with, if you were the franchise, to let your quarterback tell you who he wants his weapons to be. Like, no shit.
If he has some input, what's wrong with that?
Like, hey, I want this dude. I want to throw the ball. This dude. He can tell you why, and he's showing you every year. This man got multiple MVPs.
He's coming off an MVP season, and you still not trying to let this man be like, yeah, I want you to go get Julio Jones.
I want to see the Texans crash and burns. All right, this year. I hope Green Bay next year, out there, Aaron run it back, they crash and burn next year, because this is just getting ridiculous, bro. Like, these organizations are just,
they're doing dirty by their players, and I mean, the biggest
blatant.
Yeah. The biggest problem is when ownership, and all right, so I had to write this guy's name down because I don't even know how to say it, but Brian Gutekunst, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's only been there for a couple of years, and they're basically, we all saw the Instagram post with the comparison to The Last Dance. Mm-hmm. Not to give Jerry Krause too much praise here, but at least he drafted Michael Jordan. At least he brought Scottie Pippen to the team. He brought Phil Jackson to the team. He brought Dennis Rodman to the team. What has Brian Gutekunst done for Green Bay other than piss off your arguably greatest player you've ever had? I mean,
best shit you did was draft Julio Alexander.
You drafted the replacement.
And Devontae Adams. That's it.
And Devontae Adams. What?
And they're not even confident in that, man.
You're not even, and obviously, no one will take anything away from the Devontae Adams thing, because he's arguably next up for best wide receiver in the league. But other than that, that's a serious question. What have you done for this team other than piss off your greatest player? And we talked about Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams wants out too. He does not want to be in Green. He said, if Aaron's not here, send me to Las Vegas. Let me play with Derek Carr.
It's safe to say next year, all them boys are going to be gone. It's gonna be Aaron. Sure. It's gonna be Aaron Jones and Jordan Love rocking the show.
Oh, Aaron Jones gonna be pissed because Aaron Rodgers is one of the only reasons why he resigned.
Because let's be honest, Robin Tonyan on his contract year, he probably gonna. I'm telling you right now, if Derek Carr will probably get lucky and get Devontae Adams, barring Green Bay tags him. But I have a feeling that he won't play on the tag. You know what I mean? He did say this year he was coming to get paid, but I think next year when it's time to get paid, I feel like he won't play on the tag. You've seen players not play on the tag. Like Bell didn't play on the tag. And then Robert Tonyan, I feel like he's just going to follow Aaron wherever Aaron goes. I feel like he'll be like, oh, well,
why not?
I'm going to go play with Aaron. You know what I mean?
Why not?
So then you get to that point. It's just, these organizations are doing this to these players, and Aaron's really just saying he wants input and just to respect these dudes and what they've done. Like, I don't even think he's saying
he wants the respect that he's earned.
Yeah, he wants to respect he's earned. Like, he's saying respect him and respect these players that have gave you everything they got. Like Charles Woodson, man. Like, really?
Yeah, that one was wild to me. Is the Charles Woodson thing. The fact that you can look that man in the face, because other than Brett Favre, Bart Starr and Aaron Rodgers, the only person you could argue as the greatest player in the team's history is Charles Woodson. And so the fact that that's what I loved about Aaron's thing is he could have gone out there and just said, look,
me.
And the first thing he opened with is, I've been peeping how y'all treat people. And I've had an issue with it since day one. I let it slide. He even owned up to it. He said, I should have said something sooner, but I didn't. And now that I put my foot down, and he loves that Randall Cobb's back, but the bone you're throwing me is bringing back Randall Cobb years later. He basically said, like, you can try, but in my eyes, unless if they win a Super Bowl this year and then sign someone crazy in the offseason, basically say, you be the GM, he's not coming back next year.
What for them to bring him back? Honestly, in all reality, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Aaron wants to come back next year. I think honestly, he's probably going to escape to the Broncos next year without having to give up anything to get him, and they keep all their pieces. But you would have to sign Devontae Adams, make him the highest paid receiver, which in due time he should be next year, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to keep him. You're going to have to pay Jaleel Alexander coming up in, I think, 2 years, right? So you got to pay him. You got to get some offensive line help.
The thing is, though, you're going to have success for these people to even want to resign.
Exactly. And then you're going to have the money. They ain't got the money to bring all these dudes.
That too.
So it's just
a lot of guys going to be out the door for sure. I mean, that window is closing quick.
Yeah, closing quick, and they could be poverty very soon.
Yeah.
And it's weird, though, because
they're close as next year.
They're really good at making the transition to stay relevant and still be consistently. They've had droughts where they bottomed out, but then they get out of it pretty quick.
But they got super lucky with the Atlanta trade. A lot of people don't know this. Atlanta traded Brett Favre for a bag of pretzels to Green Bay. So they got lucky there. And then you had 20 years of that quarterback. And then you got lucky again with Aaron Rodgers basically being too cocky pre-draft. He fell all the way back to Green Bay. And arguably is the GOAT. So, like, they're not confident in Jordan Love. Maybe Jordan Love steps in and proves everybody wrong. But unless that's the same situation, you're probably not going to get that
opening up. But you think they give this man the keys to the city to keep this man in Green Bay? And he's even said this his whole career that he wants to retire a Packer.
And that's the other thing I love, bro. He loves his coaching staff. He loves his players. He loves the city of Green Bay. And he said, I want to retire a Packer.
But they're doing everything.
He might just retire after this year. He might just retire this year.
Out the door.
And they've done nothing.
I feel bad because Blake Bortles got a short end of the stick because of this. That man Aaron said, I'm coming back. This is the last dance. They released that boy.
Yo, all I'm saying is every Sunday I'm watching Packers games. All I'm saying is I'm watching
Packers games. They're going
to
be entertaining. I got Devontae Adams getting 100+ receptions, probably for 1,500 yards. I'm going to say
Aaron Rodgers, I'll put it right here. Aaron Rodgers has never thrown 50. He's throwing 50 touchdowns this year. And he'll do something stupid like 50 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, bro.
Yeah, bro, because he doesn't turn the ball over. So
at all. He still I don't think he still to this day has thrown 100 interceptions in his career, which is wild.
He low key would probably do something crazy, throw 50 touches.
Imagine 50 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He goes 10 for 1. That would be wild. And 5,000 yards. I don't think he's throwing for 5,000 yards either.
Hey, I had the Super Bowl, the early predictions we did. Remember, I had Dog Pound going against the Bucks, but I said if Aaron.
Yeah, I think I had Green Bay and Kansas City was my pick.
Yeah, I got Dog Pound going against the Packs, the Cheeseheads.
We need that. We need that one time for the one time. We need Green Bay we need Aaron Rodgers versus Pat Mahomes, the passing of the torch. I don't care who wins the game. I would like Aaron to win it, but that would be the wildest thing of all time.
Oh, Aaron gonna win it. Who about to guard Devontae Adams? Ladarius Sneed's nice. I
agree. I think Aaron.
He ain't guarding Devontae Adams.
So that's my second favorite player. I don't know if I said this before. My second favorite player all time is Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, favorite is Julio Jones. But all right. I think we got through the news. It was a wild week. We're moving on to the fan favorite segment. We got overtime. I got 3 questions and a bonus question for us.
I'm getting it back.
Marquise thinks he's about to bring it back. I got a lot of confidence in Terrance. I got some good ones this week. I think we're going to start out with a layup, but this is a good one. I like to keep it within the division. So I'm going to start this off. We all know Peyton Manning has virtually every AFC South passing record imaginable. So, especially with the Colts. So the question for number one is, who has the second most touchdown passes in franchise history? And you only have two options here, so this is a coin flip. Is it Johnny Unitas or is it Andrew Luck? And I'll start with Terrance. You can go second. Marquise, you can go second. Terrance, you got first up. Who do you got?
Bro, I want to say Andrew Luck because he was snapping, man.
And they didn't throw the ball as much back in the day.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna go Andrew Luck.
Okay, Marquise, are you switching up?
I'm going Johnny.
You going Johnny Unitas? Is that your final answer?
He probably got it right.
Yeah, I'm going Johnny.
All right, yeah, Marquise got it right. It is Johnny Unitas.
I'm just going Andrew.
Yeah, you got to remember, Andrew Luck, he got up there very quickly, but he was
only getting mauled.
He only played 6 years.
He was,
but Johnny Unitas was there for like 16 years. So, but I was very shocked. I think it was like 180 something to 220 something. They were only about a season worth of numbers off.
See, I knew Andrew was high, although he didn't play that long. So I'm like,
all right. So we got Marquise is up 1-0. This is the interesting one right here. This is a good one.
Okay.
Whoever gets this, if either of y'all get this right, you deserve something because this is a tough one. You would have never thought this was that tough. So who is the all-time AFC South rusher with 11,271 yards? Okay, remember 11,271 yards. Is it Edgerrin James with the Indianapolis Colts? Is it Eddie George with the Tennessee Titans? Is it Fred Taylor with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Or is it Arian Foster with the Houston Texans? Marquise, I'll let you go first.
That's tough.
It got to be Freddie T.
Freddie Taylor?
Yeah, it has to be.
That's your pick?
Yeah, it has to be Freddie T.
Okay. Terrance, who do you got? So you remember your options are Edgerrin James, Eddie George, Fred Taylor, and Arian Foster.
I'm gonna go Eddie George.
Eddie George? Well, I'll give y'all this. Terrance, you got the second pick, but it's Fred Taylor with 11,000.
I was just trying to go some opposite.
Hey, I'll let you know. I'll tell y'all right now. Fred Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame. Buddy is a dog.
So I'll be honest with y'all. So my pick was when going into this, I thought the reason why I picked this question was like, oh, most people forget about Eddie George. Like that was going to be the pick. And then I was like, yo, how did I forget about Ed Taylor? He's one of those forgotten heroes of. He was on some garbage teams. A lot of people don't remember.
I just wanted to go opposite of Keys.
No, yeah, you're good. And I'll be straight up. I'll even admit I was not going to pick Fred Taylor, but that was the one that he's just one of those guys that got forgotten because he was on the team that was so bad. All right. So again, the Colts hold a lot of these.
Fred Taylor is 2020. I think he's going to the Pro Bowl or the Hall of Fame this year.
I forgot
about that. Yeah,
the Hall of Fame. Yeah, the Hall of Fame game this year. We'll find out. So again, the Colts hold a lot of these offensive records because that team is ridiculous. But so AFC all-time leading receiving yardage, besides Marvin Harrison, who was at 14,000.
Marvin Harrison.
It was Marvin Harrison. I took the sales out from underneath you. It was 14,580 yards from Marvin Harrison. But second place was not far behind. 14,345 yards. So just a little under 200 yards. So 200 and I believe 35 yards less than Marvin Harrison. Your options are Reggie Wayne, his counterpart and heir apparent, Ernest Givens, Andre Johnson, or Jimmy Smith, another unsung Jaguars.
Andre Johnson.
All right, so I wasn't even going to say it, but okay, Marquise went Andre Johnson. So who do you got, Terrance?
I was going to say Andre Johnson, too.
Are you going to stick with that?
Andre Johnson.
Yeah, you got some ground to cover here.
What's the other people again? Ernest Givens.
So you got Reggie
Wayne,
Ernest Givens, Andre Johnson, or Jimmy Smith.
Just to go with somebody else, I'm going to go Reggie Wayne.
I'm glad you did that because it is Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne is actually the second. He's only 235 yards behind Marvin Harrison. Now, the huge difference is in touchdowns. So Marvin Harrison had 128 career touchdowns, and Reggie Wayne only had like 61. So like less than half. But
what?
Yeah, bro, that actually surprised me too. I told you I had some good ones this week. That surprised the hell out of me. So what is remember? Because Reggie Wayne was like probably the better possession receiver of the two, and he was bigger. So
Marvin was killing people around.
And Marvin was everything to that team. So like when Reggie Wayne played, the reason why he didn't have the touchdowns was because they had like Dallas Clark and like all the who's the running back? Joseph Adai was catching passes. Like they had everything when he was playing. So I'll do the bonus question, which Marquise has already won, but I guess Terrance, you could technically tie this. So this is another good one. Who had more career touchdowns with the Colts? And this is between Phillip Rivers in his 1 year as a starter with the Colts, or Jacoby Brissett with his 2 years as a starter with the Colts.
Who had more touchdowns between
touchdown passes? Yes, sir.
Passes.
I'll let you go first to see if you can close the gap here. I'll have to wing one if you get this right, and Marquise.
I'm gonna go with Jacoby Brissett.
All right, Jacoby
There's a
Brissett.
year Jacoby lit it up too, boy. But I'm going Phillip. Phillip's a gunslinger, bro.
Okay.
He was slinging that thing.
All right. Well, Marquise must have forgotten slept through this whole last year because he only had 17 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett had about I think it was 38.
I know, and he had what 29 in 1
year. I should have a fifth question.
Damn.
All right, but I'll just let y'all
go off a question of last season. Something last
season. All right, let me. I'll have to pull some. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna have to pull some up.
Oh, Fred. Yeah, I'll talk. Fred Taylor did not get nominated for the Hall of Fame this year, too.
He did not.
I'm tripping. He's snubbed again, I think. He should totally be in the Hall of Fame. Odell Beckham has looked good in training camp so far.
All right.
What y'all think about Chad Johnson? Y'all think Chad Johnson should be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Chad should be.
Yo, Chad Johnson's ridiculous that he's not. Honestly, and I'm not even trying to be like disrespectful to Fred Taylor, but like just for like style points, I'm surprised that Chad Johnson didn't get in sooner.
Oh, and my favorite quarterback of my favorite team caught the Rona.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, luckily it's during the training camp, so I don't think he's getting fined.
All right. So 2020, no looking. I want to see everybody's hands. Hands up. All right, that was probably not the right word choice.
That definitely wasn't the right word choice.
Anyway, definitely not me saying that. We'll edit that one out. Who was the NFL leading passer last year in yardage? All right.
Don't give us any choices. Just let us guess.
Okay, guess.
It's Watson.
Who you got, Terrance?
Last year?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Just to be somebody different, I'm gonna go with Wilson.
Yeah, king me. It's Watson.
Man, screw Marquise, bro. I knew he already knew the answer.
I knew it was Watson, bro, but I was like, let me know somebody else who was airing it out.
I choked as the question.
Hey,
but I was like, because my thing was, I was like, all right, well, let me pick, something AFC South. I was like, oh, well, Deshaun Watson did it.
I'm trying to make it fun, man.
Hey, y'all king me. Y'all want to ask you some questions about some recent stats too? Hey,
bro, next time I'll be like 1973 extra point leader. That's gonna be my next question.
I gave you a layup.
Hey, I'm letting y'all know I'm running it consecutively back. I had the 3 weeks prior to last week.
You already broke your streak. You got to start over.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it back another 3 weeks. 3P. You hear me?
Oh, these gonna be some toughies next week.
Anyway, so we got Marquise back on top. We appreciate y'all watching with this. We got one last thing. We like to give a little motivation at the end of our episodes. This week we got Terrance with the word of the day. Terrance, send us off, man.
Yeah, so word of the day that I have for you guys. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So we can make all of our dreams come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So it doesn't matter what it is that you want to do in life. You want to be a CEO, you want to be the president of a company, you want to be an athlete or whatever. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So obviously, we have to get started to get where we want to be at. So, and that's one of the hardest things, because for us as humans, I feel like if you're not that type of personality that's going to go for it, balls to the wall, the biggest thing for us as humans is procrastination. So, I'll do it now. I'll do it tomorrow.
There's
I'll
always
do it
tomorrow.
Friday.
Right?
Yeah, always putting it off. There's always another time. But that time that you're not putting in, somebody else is putting in that time and might also have that same dream to get where you're trying to go as well. So in order to be the man, you got to be the man. So, you know.
Hey, tomorrow ain't promised, big dog. So
that too.
Live your life to the fullest today.
Yeah, whatever you can do in your hands today that you can control, knock it out.
Yeah.
Always good to take that first step. Terrance, I really, really like that one. That was a very good one, because I feel like a lot of people, especially our age, is always like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. Bro, why aren't you starting today? So
exactly.
I just had a homeboy. He just signed up for school.
Same thing with college.
Same thing with me, bro. No joke, Marquise, some of your tweets really did. I'm not just saying this, really did inspire me. I'm like, yo, he's my age and he's just, kind of relatively getting started in school. Why am I not doing this? I got, X amount of years already done. Why am I not finished? And I just got in, and now I'm, back in school, rocking it out.
You know what's funny? That's good shit. You ain't the only person to tell me that. And I be tweeting like random stuff like about me in school, like, oh, I got this paper due, or I did this.
School sucks right now, but I'm gonna get this done. Like, I was like, why am I not doing this? Like, my job will pay for me to do it. What excuse do I have? So
that's a perfect example. That's the hardest part, is getting started, but it's all up to us as far as our success. So
looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, why am I not, is a great
hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable.
I'm a bull on the 23rd. I'm a bull on the 23rd. I'm actually a bull right now, but I guess I'm gonna be walking around campus. See me
Southern
get lost.
New Hampshire University, never even been there, bro, and that's my school. We're the Penmen. Get out of here. All right. That's been another successful week. Thank y'all so much for joining in, tuning in, checking up on the latest NFL news and drama going around the league. It's been crazy this week. Please like and subscribe on Twitter. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube. All the streaming platforms, we're there. Got Terrance, got Marquise. Thank you so much. We out.
Later.